You're inside the Power Hour. I'm your host, DJ Larry Jones, a.k.a. Mr. Important. If you don't know me, you don't know anybody. Now I have a very special guest on the line. From the hit Showtime series, The Chi, Miss Tiffany Boone. Tiffany,
Hi.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm a huge fan of the show.
Thank you.
First off, I want to thank you for calling in.
Of course, thank you.
Now, you know what? You're on one of the hottest, if not the hottest show on television, right? And you played Jerica, girlfriend of Brandon, who's played by Jason Mitchell. And for those who don't know who Jason Mitchell is, he's the guy who played Eazy-E in the NWA movie, right?
Yes.
Okay, now the whole cast is amazing. When you first got this script, did you know offhand that it would be a success?
I figured it would be, actually. I mean, before I auditioned for it, I just thought it was such a powerful script, and I thought that it really spoke to something that we needed in our community, and I just figured that people would eat it up. I had no idea if I would be a part of it, but I definitely felt like it had the potential to be a huge hit because we need these stories told.
Right, absolutely. How did you get the part, by the way?
Yeah, so I got the original script a couple years ago, and I auditioned for it, and I did not get it. I was heartbroken. I was in love with it, like I said. I thought Jerica was a character that I really needed to play. She just felt like somebody I knew. She felt like my friends and my family.
Right.
And so I was heartbroken. And then they did an original episode of that a couple years ago, and then they didn't really like what they had created for whatever reasons, and they decided to recast it. So a couple years later, I auditioned for it again, and here we are. So yeah, it's been kind of a crazy process.
Right, and it's a brilliant cast. I mean, all of you guys, absolutely amazing. I watch it every Sunday. I'm like hooked on it.
You.
I don't watch anything else but that. I'm seriously. Now let me ask you this: have you ever gotten a script and turned it down only to find out later that it was, the show that you turned down was a huge success? Had that ever happened to you before?
Not that I can think of. And even for stuff that I've turned down that I guess I would say was commercially successful, like people watched it or whatever, I've never regretted what I've done because generally I feel like our instincts are really strong. And so if I read something and I didn't connect to a character or the way the storytelling was, then when I saw the final product, I don't remember ever seeing anything and being like, oh, I made the wrong decision.
Right.
Even if something has been commercially successful, it wasn't artistically what I wanted to do, or it doesn't speak to the kind of work that I enjoy. So I've never regretted any of my choices in that way, luckily. I think if you're really in tune with yourself, then you should go with your first instinct, and normally you should, it's not just about what people like, so-called, or what commercially does well. It's about what feeds you as an artist and really speaks to people. So no, I've never had that experience.
Now, if you're just tuning in, we're talking to the lovely and talented Miss Tiffany Boone, who plays Jerica on the Showtime series The Chi. Now, for people who hasn't seen it yet, give them a brief description of what this show is about.
Yeah, so the show pretty much shows you what happens when one life is taken in this community on the south side of Chicago and the domino effect of that. I think you get to see that these people that you hear about on the news, that you read headlines about all the murders in Chicago, you get to see the true stories behind those people, the humanity behind those people, the laughter, the joy, the pain, the tears, the truth of these people. Pretty much that's what we're just trying to show. And so you get a little slice of life of the south side of Chicago.
Now, you know what? I think I pretty much have the storyline figured out. I'm so addicted to it. So my question is this: why don't you let Brandon back in the house? Let him back in. Just let him back in. I feel sorry for the guy.
I mean, look, everybody has been coming after me about this whole situation with Brandon and Jerica, and all I say is talk to Lena, talk to the other writers. I don't write it. I just say the lines. I don't judge my character. So
right.
Look, I understand why she did what she did because I got to say the lines. But I have no input on what happens next.
Yeah, I felt so bad for the guy. I said, oh, man, let the guy back in. You know, now I think I have something else figured out. I'm not going to say what I think because I don't want to give anything away, but I think I have an idea who shot Jason.
Oh, really?
I do. I'm not going to say it on air because I really want people to watch it. It's a powerful show.
Okay.
You know, like I said earlier, the cast members are great. I mean, you got some heavy hitters in there. How was it working with those guys?
Oh, it's so fun. I mean, you know, you obviously know from watching the show that most of my scenes are with Jason Mitchell.
Right.
But I also get to work with Sonia, and, you know, I get to work with a few people, but mostly Jason. And, you know, Jason's supremely talented, so it's great to have an acting partner that is as dope as he is. You know, he's just a very talented guy. But in general, so a lot of our storylines don't cross over, but we, you know, respect each other as artists, and, you know, some of us hang out outside of it. So it's you know, I call us the dysfunctional family because we don't all hang out all the time, but when we get together, it's crazy and we're wild and all. But I think we all just have so much respect for each other as artists, because just, you know, when we're shooting, we don't get to see what the other people are doing, and now that we're able to see the scenes, I have even more respect for everyone, because I really think that everyone brought their A game for the first season.
Now, how were you when you first watched the whole show? You know, the playback of it. What was your reaction? I mean, seeing everything come together the way it did. What was your reaction? Yeah,
it was insane. I mean, it's crazy because there's even now, you know, I'm watching along with you guys, really, and so there's stuff I've forgotten that happened. So like last week's episode, I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot that happened. You know, like, and it's crazy to see it come to screen and how all the pieces come together. But just, you know, even when I watched the first episode, there was so much build up because, like I said, they had tried to do the show once before a couple years ago, and so here we were doing it again, and Lena's been through a lot to try to get it to happen, so there was a lot of pressure on our first episode. And when I watched it, I was so excited. You know, I felt like, oh my gosh, we have something really powerful here. So every episode is just a good time, and, you know, I always tweet along with the fans and stuff, and just to see the energy of everyone, it's just amazing.
You know what, when I put up on social media that she was going to be calling, I mean, my inbox was flooded with a whole bunch of questions they wanted to ask. I mean, I'm not going to ask them for the sake of time, but, you know, I got to have you call back so I can get those fan questions to you.
Okay.
You know? But I want to thank you so much for calling in. Can you let the people know what time and day The Chi comes on?
Yes, The Chi comes on every Sunday on Showtime at 10 p.m. Catch it. It's
definitely.
We have 3 more episodes left.
Know,
so we haven't caught up, catch up. And, you know, we're going fast. So it is about to really amp up. So
I can imagine. And I'm going to be right there. And don't be surprised, I start inboxing you while I'm watching it.
Okay. Come on through.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in, all right?
All right. Thank you.
All righty.
Lock into the Power Hour every Friday night at 5 p.m. with DJ Larry Jones and Miss Tempest, playing your favorite old school hip hop and R&B.